The Earth sky shimmered as the Xerelian starship entered orbit. It was shaped like a silver feather, glowing softly against the blue sky. People across the world watched from screens, rooftops, and open fields. This was the first official visit from the Xerelian Imperium, one of the most advanced alien civilizations known to the galaxy. From the ship, Ambassador Zelina descended slowly, surrounded by floating orbs of light. Her armor was polished and flawless, reflecting the sun. Her skin was smooth like crystal and her eyes glowed like stars. She looked proud, calm, and very confident. Too confident. As she stepped onto Earth's soil, she barely glanced at the waiting crowd. Her long violet robes whispered against the polished floor of the United Earth Hall. Soldiers stood in line. Scientists watched with curiosity. Reporters whispered quickly into microphones. But Zelina noticed none of them. She believed Earth was a simple world. Unimportant. She had come only to claim its resources peacefully by pretending to offer a deal. Commander Elias Ward stood ready to welcome her. He was tall, in his early 50s, with gray at his temples and kindness in his eyes. He stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Ambassador Zelina," he said, "on behalf of Earth, we welcome you." Zelina gave a short nod. "You are efficient. That is acceptable." Her voice was calm but cold. The crowd went quiet. The hall was filled with people from every country. Flags from across Earth hung from the high ceiling. Children from the Global Unity program sat in the front rows, chosen to witness this moment. Among them was a girl named Aliyah, no older than 9. Her hair was tied in 2 braids, and her eyes sparkled with curiosity. The ambassador stepped forward and addressed the crowd. "I come from the Xerelian Imperium," she said. "We are older than your species, stronger, wiser, and far more advanced. This meeting is a kindness from us. Do not mistake it for equality." People murmured, shocked by her words. "We offer protection," she continued. "In exchange, Earth will provide rare elements, water sources, and genetic samples. This is a peaceful offer. Refusal is unwise." The silence in the room grew heavier. Commander Ward remained calm. "We understand your position, but Earth is not a colony. We believe in friendship, not fear." Zelina smiled slightly, as if speaking to a child. "Your beliefs are charming, but beliefs do not build empires." Before anyone could respond, a small voice rang out from the front row. "Why are you so mean?" The crowd froze. Aliyah had stood up. She looked directly at the tall alien ambassador, her voice loud and honest. "You came to visit us, but you're not being nice. My mom says guests should be kind." Zelina blinked, surprised. She stared at the girl as if trying to understand a puzzle she hadn't seen before. For the first time since landing, she had no reply. People held their breath. Commander Ward took a small step forward, worried. But Zelina finally spoke. "Your mother teaches manners," she said slowly. "Interesting." Aliyah nodded. "She also says you don't have to be big to be strong. You just have to be good." There was a soft sound, somewhere between a laugh and a cough, from one of the Earth scientists. A few people smiled. Even Ward let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. Zelina straightened. "I will consider this lesson." Then she turned, walking away with her guards. The floating orbs followed silently. The meeting was over for now. Outside the hall, Ward walked with his advisors. "That could have gone worse," someone said. Ward nodded. "It also could have gone better. But did you see her face when Aliyah spoke?" For a moment, she didn't know what to do. She expected power, not honesty, one advisor replied. Ward smiled. "That's humanity's gift. We surprise people." Back in her ship, Zelina sat quietly. A screen showed images of Earth's history, culture, and people, but her eyes were focused elsewhere, on the image of the little girl. A file blinked beside it. Aliyah M. Reyes, age 9, location Sector 7. Learning Dome. Zelina whispered to herself, "Small but strong, good, strange, For the first time in her career, she felt something unfamiliar. Curiosity. Days passed since Ambassador Zelina's first meeting with the people of Earth. News of her words traveled fast. Some people were angry, others were afraid, but most were thinking deeply. She had come not as a friend, but as someone who believed Earth was below her. That much was clear. Yet what no one had expected was Aaliyah, the small girl who spoke with bold honesty. Many called her brave. Some even called her a voice of Earth's heart. Inside the United Earth Council building, Commander Elias Ward stood by a large window. He looked out at the city below, hands behind his back. The sky was gray, with soft clouds, and the air was still. Behind him, a team of scientists and diplomats argued quietly. "We can't trust her," one said. "She's hiding something." "Her ship's scanners are always active," another added. "They're mapping every mineral deposit on the planet. We need to push back, politely but firmly." Ward turned. "I agree, but we won't fight with weapons. We'll use something stronger. Our minds." A young scientist named Dr. May Harrow stepped forward. "Are you thinking about Project Mirrorlight?" "Yes," Ward said. "We began it for cases like this. If we can study her technology even a little, we may find a way to protect Earth's independence." Dr. Harrow nodded. "We've already started analyzing the frequency her ship uses to communicate. It's strange, almost emotional." Ward raised an eyebrow. "Emotional?" "Yes. Zerelian tech might be more than machines. It could be connected to thoughts or feelings, but we need more data." "Gather it quietly," Ward said. "We can't let her know." Meanwhile, on her ship high above Earth, Zelina stood inside a glowing chamber. The walls shimmered with symbols and colors that shifted like water. A Zerelian assistant, Kyle, stood nearby holding a floating screen. "They are watching us closely," Kyle said. "Earth's leaders are cautious." Zelina nodded slowly. "Expected, but their tools are simple. Their fear makes them predictable." Kyle hesitated. "And the child? The one from the assembly?" Zelina's face tightened slightly. A minor event, not important. But deep inside, she was not so sure. She had reviewed the moment many times. The girl's eyes, her simple words, they stayed in her mind longer than she liked. Zerelians were trained to control emotion. But humans, they used emotion like a tool or a weapon. "I want a full report on Earth's education systems," Zelina said suddenly. "And locate the child, quietly." Kyle blinked, surprised. "Yes, Ambassador." On Earth, Aaliyah was unaware of the attention she had drawn. She sat in her small classroom drawing pictures of the stars. Her teacher smiled as Aaliyah held up her sketch. "This is her ship," Aaliyah said proudly. "But I made it better. It has flowers inside." "Why flowers?" her teacher asked. "Because maybe she's just lonely," Aaliyah answered. Back at the council, Project Mirrorlight made progress. Scientists discovered that Zelina's ship responded slightly to human brainwaves. When Dr. Harrow played peaceful, music in the lab nearby scans showed changes in the alien signals. Ward listened carefully. "So it reacts to emotion?" "Yes, it's almost like it can feel." "Interesting," he said. "Let's test further, but carefully." They sent simple messages, feelings, not words, through controlled devices. Kindness, curiosity, even sadness. The ship didn't reply directly, but its energy pulse shifted, becoming slower and calmer. Unknowingly, Earth was learning how to speak without speaking. In her ship, Zelina sat in meditation. Around her, soft lights blinked. Suddenly, she felt something. A wave of calm. Then a flicker of joy. It was not from her. It was from outside. She opened her eyes. "Kale," she said. "They are sending something." Kale checked the systems. "No data signal, no message." "It's not in words," Zelina said. "They're reaching out." Kyle frowned. "Do you wish me to block it?" "No. Observe it." Selina stood and walked toward the window. Far below, Earth turned quietly, in space. Its oceans glowed blue and lights from cities shone in the dark. "They are not what I expected," she said quietly. "Not just animals with tools. There is something else. A strange strength." Kale nodded. "Their kindness is powerful." Selina didn't reply. Her eyes focused not on the cities, but on a small blinking dot on the map, Sector 7, where Aaliyah lived. Back on Earth, Commander Ward gathered with his closest team. "She's watching us, studying, but something's changing," he said. "Do you think she'll back down?" someone asked. "No," Ward said, "but I think she's beginning to feel something she never planned for." "What's that?" Ward smiled softly. "Respect, maybe even wonder." The sunlight filtered softly through the tall windows of the United Earth Hall. In a quiet room, away from the crowds and cameras, Ambassador Selina sat across from Commander Elias Ward at a polished wooden table. Between them lay a beautifully carved chess set, each piece shaped like figures from Earth's history. Selina's sharp eyes studied the board. The game was not just a pastime. It was a symbol, a battle of minds, of will, and of strategy. "You play a curious game," Selina said, her voice calm but edged with something new. "Interest." Ward smiled. "Chess is old, but it teaches us many lessons. Patience, planning, and the value of every move, like diplomacy." Selina nodded slowly. "In Zerelian culture, we use our technology to win. We do not play games with simple pieces." "Perhaps that is why you underestimate us," Ward replied gently. "Games like this show us that sometimes the smallest move can change everything." They began the match. The room was quiet except for the soft clink of pieces as they moved across. The board, Selina played quickly and boldly, pushing her queen forward. Ward responded carefully, moving his knights and bishops with thought. As the game went on, Selina's face shifted. She looked less sure. The patterns of Earth's chess confused her, and Ward's unexpected moves forced her to pause and reconsider. "You are patient," she said, watching Ward move his rook. "You do not rush to attack." "That is because sometimes defense is the best strategy," Ward answered. "And waiting helps us learn more about our opponent." Selina leaned forward, her glowing eyes fixed on the board. "Your patience is strange, yet effective." Ward smiled. "So is your strength." The game continued. Neither side gained a clear advantage. Sometimes Ward sacrificed a piece to protect a more important one. Sometimes Selina advanced slowly, carefully guarding her king. At one point, Selina paused and looked up. "Your people, you fight with heart. You are not like us." Ward met her gaze. "Our strength comes from more than technology or power. It comes from hope, kindness, and the will to protect what we love." Selina's expression softened for a moment. "Love, that is not often a factor in Zerelian decisions. We focus on logic and control. But love can be the strongest force of all," Ward said. "It can make us brave when we are afraid, and united when we feel alone." The room grew quiet, again. The two leaders stared at the chessboard, their thoughts deep. Finally, Selina moved her queen carefully into position. "Check," she said softly. Ward smiled and moved his king. Not yet. Minutes passed as the game drew close. Both players saw the end approaching, but neither wanted to make the final move. Then Ward looked up and said, "I think this game ends in a draw." Selina studied the board. Slowly she nodded. "A draw. That means neither side wins or loses." "Exactly," Ward said. "Sometimes in life it's not about winning. It's about finding balance." Selina's eyes seemed to flicker with new understanding. "You humans are unpredictable." Ward laughed quietly. "That's our secret weapon." For the first time since arriving on Earth, Selina smiled. Not a cold, proud smile, but a small one of respect. Outside the room, The world watched as negotiations continued. But inside, something had changed. Two very different beings found common ground in a simple game. Later, as Zelina prepared to leave the room, she paused. "Commander Ward," she said, "thank you for this lesson." Ward nodded. "Thank you for being willing to learn." As she walked away, Zelina thought about the game, about the patience, the surprise, and the strange power of small moves. She looked out the window at Earth's shining cities. For the first time, she wondered if there was more to this planet than she had ever imagined. And somewhere deep inside her, a small spark of respect was growing, one that might change everything. The days grew tense after the chess match between Ambassador Zelina and Commander Elias Ward. Though their game ended in a draw, the quiet battle between Earth and the Zarelian Imperium was far from over. One morning, an explosion rocked a research facility on the outskirts of a major city. Alarms blared, and emergency teams rushed to the scene. The building was damaged, equipment destroyed. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, but the message was clear. Someone wanted Earth to be afraid. At the United Earth Council, chaos broke out. Ward stood firm, addressing his team. "We need to investigate quickly and carefully," he said, "but no rush to blame anyone without proof." Some whispered that the Zarelians were behind the sabotage, trying to force Earth's hand. Others thought it might be a radical human group afraid of alien influence. Ambassador Zelina issued a statement through her ship's communication system. "We condemn violence," she said, her voice calm and measured. "Such acts do not help. Negotiations. We seek peace." But Earth's people were uneasy. Many remembered her cold words during the first meeting. Trust was fragile. Meanwhile, in Sector 7, young Aliyah heard the news on a small screen in her home. Her mother sat quietly nearby, her face drawn with worry. "Aliyah," her mother said softly, "these are difficult times, but your words, they gave many people hope." Aliyah nodded, her small hands gripping the edge of the table. She wanted to do more. She wanted to help. The next day, the global broadcast was scheduled for Ambassador Zelina's response to the explosion. Cameras from all over the world focused on the large hall where the meeting was to be held. As Zelina entered, her usual proud expression was softer, almost thoughtful. But the crowd remained tense. Just as she was about to speak, a small voice interrupted. "Why do you hurt us if you say you want peace?" Everyone turned. The voice was clear and brave. It belonged to none other than Aliyah. The child had somehow been brought to the front, given permission to speak live. Zelina's eyes widened, then narrowed slightly. She looked at the girl with a mixture of surprise and something else, maybe respect. Aliyah stood tall. "I don't understand. You say you want friendship, but things keep breaking. People are scared. My friends ask why we can't just be kind." Her words echoed through the hall, quiet but powerful. Cameras captured every moment, and the message spread instantly across Earth and into space. For a moment, Zelina said nothing. Then she spoke slowly. "Your courage is unusual," she said. "It is honest." Aliyah smiled slightly. "Honesty can be stronger than power." The crowd erupted in quiet applause. Zelina bowed her head briefly, a rare gesture from the proud ambassador. Later, as the broadcast ended, Zelina returned to her ship. Alone in her chamber, she replayed Aliyah's words again and again. Suddenly, a strange feeling washed over her. Memories, or maybe thoughts, began to surface. Images of childhood, laughter, fear, and hope. But these were not her own memories. They felt distant, yet familiar. She touched her forehead. "What is happening?" Kyle, her assistant, approached. "Ambassador, your systems are showing unusual activity. It's as if your mind is linked to another's." Zelina's eyes widened. "Linked? To whom?" "Possibly to the child." Aliyah. The idea was shocking. Zarelian science forbade such connections. They were dangerous and unpredictable. Zelina sat down heavily. "I never expected this." Outside, Earth's leaders watched her ship closely. Something was changing. The proud, distant diplomat was becoming different. Commander Ward spoke quietly to his advisors. We can't say what this means yet, but if she's changing because of humanity, then maybe we've already won a different kind of battle. Ambassador Zelina sat quietly in the glowing chamber aboard her ship. The strange sensations in her mind had not stopped. Instead, they grew stronger. Images, feelings, and memories that were not hers, but seemed connected to a small human girl named Aliyah. Her Zerelian assistant, Kyle, studied the readings closely. Ambassador, our scans show that your mind is linked to the child's. It is as if some unknown technology activated during your exposure to Earth. Zelina frowned. But that was impossible. Zerelian law forbids such technology. It is considered dangerous. Kyle nodded. Yes, but something happened. Perhaps it was unintentional. Your exposure to human emotion triggered a latent effect. Zelina stared out the window at Earth below, a beautiful blue-green marble spinning slowly in space. For the first time, she saw it differently. I feel her fear, her hope, Zelina whispered. It is overwhelming. Kyle looked concerned. This connection could be a weakness. The Council will not approve. Zelina shook her head. No, it is also a gift, I must understand. Meanwhile, on Earth, Aliyah felt something strange too. During quiet moments, she sensed a presence, like a gentle voice inside her mind. Sometimes, when she was scared or lonely, a calm feeling would wash over her. One afternoon, as she sat in her garden, Aliyah closed her eyes. She pictured the shining ship in the sky and thought, Are you there? Suddenly, a soft warmth spread through her chest. She smiled, feeling less alone. Back on the ship, Zelina began to explore the link. She meditated, reaching out through the connection. Images of Earth's forests, oceans, and children filled her mind. She saw Aliyah playing with friends, laughing, helping others. She felt the child's dreams of peace, friendship, and a better future. It is different, Zelina said softly. Humans are not just simple creatures. They carry hope in small hands. Kale watched her with surprise. Ambassador, you are changing. Yes, Zelina replied, and so is my view of Earth. But not everyone in the Zerelian Imperium was pleased. News of the link reached the High Council, a group of stern elders who ruled with strict logic and control. They summoned Zelina to a special hearing. The chamber was cold and harsh, filled with glowing panels and watchful eyes. Ambassador, the council leader said sternly, your actions threaten our laws and our mission. Explain this. Emotional connection to a human child. Zelina stood tall. This connection shows me what we have ignored. Earth's strength lies in its spirit, its emotions. We must reconsider our approach. The council murmured in anger. Feelings are weakness. You risk everything for sentiment. Zelina's voice grew firm. It is not weakness. It is the greatest strength. I have seen it in this child, in humanity itself. The council was silent. No one spoke. Zelina returned to her ship's command room. She knew her path was now dangerous, but she could not turn back. Kyle, she said, prepare to protect Earth, but also prepare to protect the link. Kyle nodded. Understood. On Earth, Aliyah's life changed quietly. She was invited to special meetings, studied by scientists curious about her rare empathy. Yet she remained a normal child, kind, curious, brave. One night, Aliyah looked at the stars and whispered, I will help you even if you don't know it yet. Far above, in the silver ship, Zelina smiled. For the first time, she felt a bond that crossed worlds, a bond made not of power, but of trust and hope. The arrogant alien diplomat had received far more than she deserved. She had received a child she never anticipated. The great hall of the Zerelian High Council was cold and vast. Tall pillars of shining metal stretched toward the ceiling, and glowing symbols floated in the air. Representatives from many planets sat in stiff chairs, their eyes fixed on the center stage. Ambassador Zelina stood before the council, not as the proud diplomat she once was, but as a woman changed by what she had seen and felt. Beside her stood Commander Elias Ward, his posture steady, and Aaliyah, small but fearless. The council leader's voice echoed sharply. Ambassador Zelina, you stand accused of breaking our sacred laws. You formed an emotional link with a human child. You showed weakness and jeopardized the Imperium's mission. Zelina's voice was calm but strong. I stand here because I have seen something you refuse to see. Earth is not a planet to conquer or control. It is a home to a people full of strength, hope, and love. A murmur rose among the council members. The leader responded, Your feelings have clouded your judgment. The Imperium demands order, not sentiment. Your actions could bring ruin. Ward stepped forward. With respect, your council, Earth does not seek war. We seek peace, cooperation. Zelina's choice shows wisdom, not weakness. Aaliyah looked up, her voice clear and steady. I am just a child, but I know that when people care for each other, they are stronger. The Imperium could be stronger too if it listened. The hall fell silent. Many council members whispered among themselves, surprised by the child's courage. The leader's gaze sharpened. This trial will decide the future, not just of Zelina, but of two worlds. Evidence was presented. Some showed the damage caused by Zerelian forces in earlier conflicts. Others displayed Earth's achievements, medicine, art, acts of kindness. Zelina spoke of the link she shared with Aaliyah, explaining how it opened her eyes to humanity's true nature. Ward added, This connection is a bridge, not a threat. It offers understanding where there was only fear. The council debated long into the day. Voices rose, ideas clashed, but a new respect for humanity began to grow. Finally, the leader stood. The Imperium will grant Earth a seat at the galactic table. Zelina's sentence is changed. She will serve as ambassador between our peoples. The hall erupted in murmurs and gasps. Zelina turned to Ward and Aaliyah, her eyes shining. Thank you for your courage and belief. Ward smiled. This is only the beginning. Aaliyah beamed. I'm ready. Outside the hall, news spread quickly. Earth celebrated a new era of friendship and hope. But for Zelina, the greatest victory was not in the council's decision, but in the bond she shared with Aaliyah, the child who taught her that strength is found not in power alone, but in the Auri heart. Years had passed since the great trial that changed the fate of two worlds. Earth and the Zerelian Imperium had grown closer, their old suspicions giving way to cautious friendship. The galactic table now included Earth, a symbol of respect and hope. Ambassador Zelina was no longer the proud and distant figure who first arrived. She had become a bridge between two very different civilizations. Her sharp eyes had softened, and her once cold voice now carried warmth and understanding. She walked through the bustling city streets of Earth, her violet robes blending with the crowd. People paused to look at her, some with curiosity, others with respect. Children waved, recognizing the alien who had become their protector and friend. Among them was Aaliyah, no longer a child, but a young woman with bright eyes and a kind heart. She moved with confidence, carrying the hopes of many in her steady hands. Zelina watched Aaliyah speak to a group of young students in a park. The girl, now a woman, shared stories of peace, courage, and the power of kindness. The crowd listened, inspired. Later, in a quiet room filled with light, Zelina and Aaliyah met with Commander Elias Ward, now retired but still wise and calm. Your work has changed many minds, Ward said gently. Not just on Earth, but across the stars. Zelina nodded. And it was your patience and kindness that made it possible. Aaliyah smiled. We all had a part, but it started with a small question and a small heart. Ward looked at them both, proud. The greatest legacies come from small hands that dare to reach out. Zelina reached out and took Aaliyah's hand, her touch gentle. You were the child I never expected. You taught me that strength is not just power. It is hope, trust, and love. Aaliyah squeezed her hand, and you showed me that even the proudest can change. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars. The two worlds had found a new path, one of friendship, respect, and endless possibility. As night fell, Zelina looked up at the sky. The stars shone bright, but none as bright as the bond she shared with Earth and the child who became her daughter in spirit. Her journey had begun with arrogance. It had ended with a legacy far greater than conquest, a legacy of hope, carried in small hands that would shine across the galaxy forever.